Problem.
Okay.
We ask Nigeria.
No. I mean, so Ushe.
Well, I mean, you can tell us Ramsdale are better.
Yeah.
Compared to Pope, but like you always do, you say before tournaments, and you try to check out players now to see where you are. Formation be but in regards to Sebia soccer formation, who would you prefer? And teams are number one. It's in for me, and that was just a prep to see. Baby Omujina, but Ramsdale better.
Mahu several write-ups are. As Omvu said, the honeymoon period is over for Guy Southgate. It is time for him to deliver. But I thought he would deliver. To get England to the semi-finals of the World Cup, playing the final of the Euros.
Yeah, there's so much that's done in the background. Regarding baby your call for Euros, and especially being in the final, no. Say above the weight. It's in a final be a genius about how many says your World Cup need do final be man. I say your coach. Internet say 2 games to prep yourself for the World Cup. And I say you said it's and I quite say you only mujidi and I see mujidi, but I still feel say they will get somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well,
he's wavering a bit. They are pushing him because the Southgate I know, that pragmatic coach I know, I'm a penasim no. Some game we cover people like Timori no. Because your game on last is way similar. He's one of the solid defenders in the Serie A. When you know there are question marks on one of your defenders. So why don't you give Timori a chance? But he didn't. 2 games in our movie. So it tells me say some of the pressure is getting to him. But I hope, because I know he's calm. The reason I like that man is that he calm, he knows how to talk. He's very pragmatic. We treat that and Alexander know this year. And it's an coach for the view.
With Southgate here, on your reaction coach. On what I mean is in a game situation, and I say, you have to say, who expects team number one, how do you then react to it? I know you will be on your reaction coach. You know, or stick it to say this is the planner. That becomes the plan until the end of the game. Until say you observe games and then say, okay, I could have changed this, I could have changed that. And I think that's going to be the problem at the World Cup. Meeting all the best, compared to Euros now, the Europeans and then Kwanako boy. And I feel that could be the problem there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, Yanko Sona Membra, Michael.
The last game, that way in the supporters, no. Last game, 2 substitutions, the second game, no. Okay.
Substitution there.
Mount Nisaka.
Yes. Even Saka particularly.
No. Hey, go Mount Saka.
Myself just a Saka. Mount Saka. But Saka be had there, pa. Saka do that. But I know say expectation is very huge.
Yeah.
From England for the on the World Cup.
But the team is coming down. And that's my worry. Who's the team you graph? England team never form kakra unless they can change certain things with team name.
Like
say team ever cycle. You go to the peak and they come down to a trough. And sometimes when you are coming down like Italians, you drop suddenly you'll be a crying tears. Or because team not the ball Euros not killing them or you sue the last breath of the last team. So we now try to call a new team. So somebody could even qualify for the World Cup. It is England. I think they will pick They should have won the Euros. The Euros don't maybe in India. I don't know whether they'll get that chance again because virtually at home, although much back when away from Wembley. Yeah. They played virtually all the games at Wembley. Who could do final? Once your first goal, 3 minutes, then you don't know what to do with yourself. That game, I replay in my mind every time. So why will he do 1-0? No matter confused whether to go ahead and get the second goal or to defend or what. The coach Federica said on your reactive coach because everybody could see said the goal was coming, the equalizer was coming. Let me show you Homer. So I remember everybody say equalizer, but virtually it came. Until
maybe I will say like you're saying also
they also had the lack of the draw for the last World Cup. Okay, World Cup. I come first go do final. I'm for Belgium, Brazil, I don't know Colombia, Denmark. I'm for Denmark. Denmark Euros, I'm for Colombia.
Colombia, I remember. I mean, I share equalizer.
What a fan! I'm saying, Kushado Kai. The last World Cup.
No,
but they had a part where clear to the team and strong now was Croatia at the semi-final stage, and they lost. Kobaye how new World Cup draw here. Kofi Biako here they meet France at the quarter-final stage. Can you imagine? This is a tougher route for England.
Okay.
Until Omunye come, anyone wasn't as a support England. Mr. Support from the Euros. I really wanted them to win the Euros because to the only trophy we won in 1966 and France not before World Cup 2. I mean, so I really wanted and last World Cup they coming when you caught me. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Me can't go front of you now. You want to England just a it's coming. What's that?
You miss your opportunity, Kakra. Seriously, we shoot him now. The last 2 games, we shoot him now. And the fact that he's even wavering on Saka, and then the man can get him. Now the new kid of the block, Bellingham.
Yeah,
Jude, but Jude is not up to it.
Really?
Davey. Akanekakra. When him that stability, Calvin Phillips and Rice, Declan Rice, not a year. It works for both of them. Was England is here, team or put pressure on them in terms of possession here. And Bellingham, but if you ask me, the team is not as strong as 4 years ago or in the last year Euros.
Okay.
For some very strange reason.
Well, go for the
people keep saying say drop for Harry Maguire.
But tomorrow, okay, Bo is similar and
the certain players are more carry cloud. It's regardless of how much say Onyebi money on team now. What I can say is, of course, he's not sharp. He's not getting much fitness. But when it comes into England, that a lot has been designed around him.
Okay.
It's when you're going to a major tournament like this, don't suddenly just drop him straight away. Okay. Sometimes you keep the faith.
Okay.
And hopefully, Obepeke up again. And I'm sure he's doing extra sessions on the side as well to try and keep on top of his game now. For me, he's got like what Doctor said. There's will keep Calvin Phillips in the middle, and with Declan Rice as well. But what normally happens with Declan is when he plays as a 2-base defensive midfielder, or Brett, he struggles a lot because Jan prefers to never control the whole system through that middle. No? It is when you play someone around him, it's an eye congested or okay. So it's either you play Declan or you play Calvin Phillips. Okay. And for me, Harry Maguire Declan Rice anymore. It's good now.
So like a 4-1-4-1.
Yes, when they're attacking, especially.
Okay. Well, Michael, I'm sure respect to the English national team and all that.
To be honest, I have to be careful because I represent the England international. So my views, my opinions, if I speak too much, I go too far. So I have to be careful. What I will say is, England, they are struggling. Everyone can see they're struggling. They need a bit of luck. I think Gareth Southgate has maybe lost his way, lost their style, lost their identity to a certain element.
Okay.
So, but the team, when you speak to the players, when I speak to Reece, the camp is very happy. They believe in themselves. They believe they're going to come good when the time is needed, which is going to be the tournament. So we'll see. But my genuine opinions, I have to be careful with what I say.
Oh, definitely, I understand. Definitely, I understand. Say, how could you cry? Mohawk put the hand on me. Had ya, was so proud of it. We play and go in for you. Had ya, Obi. Had ya.
Shall be well.
As you go interview, I hope I can buy. Okay,
so I think a game of two sides in form, but I think the biggest difference will be the coaches. Mekaise Arsenal, Mone is a Liverpool. No, against Liverpool.
No, Man United, yeah.
Ateta year changes beer. Yes. So that's where and now Spurs against Leicester. I also know Mr. Conte changes be back to your boy back four in the second half and all of that, and they got the reaction. So some elements, the experience of Conte against maybe fair to say the inexperience of Arteta, especially at this level, will possibly count. But I think how do you exploit the three back of Spurs? And also, and the Horna Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, and a game where Zinchenko, Xhaka, Martinelli, left wing Horno is so important, so critical for Arsenal. And of course, Thomas Partey. Without Thomas Partey, Arsenal in 10 we need games to break. So we are critical. Power was our team. Now,
who's my combined 11? Be me Partey.
Wow.
Only
my view on combined 11. So only my view.
What's it say?
Combined 11. Useless.
Okay.
What is a combined 11?
The best.
Because football is a partnership. So
okay.
A game, a team game. Say we are about 4 and 5. We work very well. Also, who will be in Boche and Crentino? My combined 11. Who will be Ubabo? Marco Fadeda. I don't know how that thing works. So you pick position by position and say who is better.
Say Perisic on your fullback.
Okay. There are a lot of those players who are not really up there.
What was the
but they are lucky they are there. Obi na transfer why?
Okay, so Obi opinion.
Obi na transfer.
Yeah. It's chairman. I think say a game.
Fans, you say fans na them say.
Oh, okay.
About fans no more no man wini.
Yeah.
Party world class.
Yeah.
Party world class. Na yeah. Obebo boy yes say and so what dog.
Oh, but I don't come here for crack at you. Sanamuka, I didn't come radio, but I don't think any injury.
Any injury? Say na baba until say only coach ni nya small you say. No. Coach ni starting 11. Ono free injury never. So bo no kwa against Brazil. Now obo Dede Andre ni Kudus in front of him. Also here a lot of tackles.
Killing him, yeah.
Since of free injury but on team yes ejuma kese. It's your more Baba Idris will can so that the two of them will. As I say, my friend, when you're ready for the game, no, see well.
Otuado ne cancer na Chris shooting ne cancer.
Otuado, na coach no. Otuado ne coach you.
Wow.
I am no, but I have say remember so I have confirmed because
it makes sense. Say player and they say, okay, I'm injured, so I'll do the support. One will do the defending.
Oh, I have a problem, and let me tell you this.
Okay.
So now. Before every game, a day or two before, or 3 days before, you work on your shape. Well, I would work on my shape as a coach. No, I'm not saying so, yes, sir.
Oh, but I'm saying
it's quite obvious.
It's quite obvious you did not work on the shape.
I don't know, but I'm just saying.
So your shape, complaining when you started doing it.
Yeah, in what it should happen is that you would work on a shape, defensive shape, or attacking shape, and obviously defending corners, all the that comes with it. But when my shape, and I'm hoping so you're shaped, so my shape, and obviously that's a player in baby and not all ball. Then on a day of the game, you tell me, sir, having given all the information out, it becomes a problem for the coach. So now, so on my shape, on a day in an hour or two before, be a car teams in the trauma. Then obviously I'm going to blame the coach as well because then no one take the moyase. But most of the time, as this is a national team and this is the Black Stars, and you'd expect to say, because it's only or more like a club team, we training 4 or 5 days a week and maybe more matches now. I'm about 2, 3, 4 days now, no more max. And sometimes we go on my jet lag, we're not playing for too long, we go into money sessions. It's the 2, 3, 4 days I've been here before the game. You would hope, say, mobile shape, and so the players understand exactly what they need to do. So for the player now to, well, I'm hoping that wasn't the case, but for him to now come and say it's a beer, saying maybe mono, it's a bit of a problem for me.
In fact, I'm to one.
Did you watch the game?
Yes. Against Brazil. Yes.
What the best in your shape?
What's it?
Who's your game?
For me, line up I was so surprised, I must say. Because I mean, with all the players and not on the bench, and I'm not saying Sebia started will be but when you've only got 2 or 3 games before a World Cup or for the World Cup games, that's it. When you're these games to prepare for the World Cup, it's only 3 games to be honest. It's not 10 games. So you would want to play your best teams to start with, even if it's just for 60 minutes. That's what we drop you out because this game, so don't compete much in GB 6 or 7. Right.
It was agreed that 6 or 7.
And what you then do is a personally, that what I would go and say. For my best starting lineup available on the day, and maybe play 60th minute. But they've got the GPSs on. You know who's going to get tired, who's not tired. Take them off and then put other players on as well, just to see the shape and roughly, you know, what you would do when it comes to the proper matches at the World Cup. It to me who set and then the squad, and especially with Andre and Jordan playing in the middle. I was a bit baffled, I must say.
But you see, I had the same opinion. I'm going to crack on last Saturday vehemently. I'm focusing on my book last week because I was angry. But what if say team not the boy and no say the best team?
That can be possible.
Oh, debut! I'm not saying.
I was angry.
So I'm the best team. I made the same argument.
Freddie, as someone can say, when you have two friendly, in fact, you are playing against Brazil.
Yeah.
It's a test everybody will love to have.
That's your best test. And
because you are playing against the highest ranked team in the world.
Yeah.
If you want to test the strength of your team against the best, if you play your best team.
Yeah.
And dog I say, what if, say in the mind of the coach,
your boy in the
best team.
After the game, the post-game reaction, he said he made a mistake with his lineup.
Or say he made a mistake with his system.
Yes, he's
but
also
No,
he doesn't have a system. Only system. No, when you talk about what's the system, the players fit into the system.
Now you know, say he doesn't think he made a mistake.
No,
but say the lineup was good.
He's spoken to people off record to tell them say it was a political lineup.
Yes. But who say you can be a data bank?
Yes.
Say okay. These are the boys I'm for so women are qualified.
Yes.
Or is it because
yes.
They are not thousand on
against Nicaragua, not Brazil.
No, maybe on super these are my reasons in TB. Mama mama mo head be at all. But then yes.
Coach, you have only 3 games to a tournament as huge as the World Cup. They are going to gamble with you're the best test you ever get before the World Cup.
Even Brazil do not gamble.
No. Unimaginable.
If you must say, or did the form lay it to 10?
They approaching it to 10.
Anyway,
okay. So Arsenal to Spurs 1. Then I'll go for City 4, Man United 1.
City 4.
Yeah, City 4, Man United 1. It's a possessive attacking football against counter-attacking football.
One of the last 8 meetings.
Yes, but
Man U seems to be
I think the last 4. Etihad, Man United were 3 wins out of 4. That's a fact, because Man United will soak the pressure. Let's try break me down. Unfortunately, there's no Rashford. Maybe there'll be a Sancho, there'll be an Anthony. They'll try to exploit the spaces of Juan Cancelo, because but this is the best team in the league, the best team in the Premier League. Haaland will certainly score. Haaland against Lisandro. Yes, Anope be firm catch him. So Dortmund Ajax here last season the Champions League. Dortmund Ajax Dortmund 4-0. And Senya Lisandro handle Haaland, but absolutely. So you have Scott McTominay against Kevin De Bruyne. How Man United survive in this sort of situation? But David De Gea, 1 year left on his contract. He needs to also a performance, because when basically the biggest test for Mr. Ten Hag, and we're winning manager of the month, Rashford the winning player of the month of September. There's a good vibe, but look, this Pep Guardiola side, watch out for Ilkay Gundogan. Top player, but largely underrated. Kelvin De Bruyne, but that's Ilkay Gundogan guy is a top boy.
Well, let me say, coach, if we are Michael with some issue about Otuado and the Christian thing. Before say how we'll be okay with it. Okay, good. Coach, Basa is one now Ten Hag has started Casemiro from the bench. About Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes.
Yes, and Scott McTominay.
And I'm thinking they're playing against the best team in England. I mean, the best attacking team we know, City. And they're risky, and they're over ambitious. So that's what I'm saying there.
Scott, what is Scott not saying?
Oh, yes, amazing.
What you know?
The last bet.
And watch it carefully. Tell me, you're signing Casemiro. What transform? Oh, you know, he's super.
Against Arsenal,
he didn't play I rated so much, but he's super now.
Yeah.
He tackles very well. He covers spaces. He's doing very well. So if you're a coach, you say that the guy is delivering for you. You can have an excuse. Say, "Oh, this man has just joined the team. Let me get used to our system." But honestly, I think I don't know why he's doing training, but I really believe Scott is impressing the coach. The same way he's impressing me, and I think Obi.
Yeah. The levels of aggression and as a
Obi better on the team.
On the 20.
With Casemiro, so integrating it in bit by bit.
Gradually, yeah.
Because especially playing against City, and that's it. Was in it too early. People might think say, "How could TSS carry now Kofana?" But all of a sudden, it's only as good as even how we thought he would be. Scott is a hard-working player. He's reliable. He's someone that obviously he's a Manchester boy.
Okay.
And he's got Manchester at heart. And to playing against it, for me, yes, you got to start Scott.
Yeah. Yes, and I think player was here showing Christian Eriksen.
Fantastic.
Was surprising me this season, especially with that deep line.
Eriksen has always been a good player.
Yeah, but
the passing ranges,
even with Denmark,
40 meters. I mean, where in his area, counter-attacking football. No, apart from Lisandro. Lisandro Frimoa, that guy is so sharp on the counter. Ojibor no, you know, so nche. Or chance to dictate until Yan inside left. Ni say out to me say player be running. Why a conductor or central midfielder? That could be the problem for Man City. But generally, I mean, who can
City win?
Of course, Chairman 4-1.
And with the beast of a
you see
striker
the point and say Man United crash. Man United somebody winner was almost 2 goals because Haaland will score. If you score 1, Haaland will score. One will also shape a brave. One will now son Haaland bet it take a cry now. But I don't know how. Today Ronaldo is starting.
Ronaldo is starting.
I said Rashford Niho. Rashford is available there, but Ronaldo see a win against Spain.
Probably.
Maybe this game is
Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo as a 9.
Okay, Ronaldo in Spain.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, you say mortals, 38 there. Absolutely.
But
Haaland.
I don't know. Such a hype on him. So we have been Haaland ne Mbappe one or higher ceiling. I mean, who do you think? I don't know their career because so this guy really perform.
I think for me, maybe Ansana. Okay,
answer last.
Maybe answer last. Okay, coach.
Okay. Well, as long as it's ceiling, I'd like to understand what kind of
ceiling is
as it grow more.
They are all at the beginning of their careers. They are, let's say, they are
I'll say Haaland, and I'll tell you why.
They are the next generation.
Yes, but I'll say Haaland straight away, and I'll tell you why. He's such a disciplined player. He's a coach's player. Yeah. And coaches love players like that. The certain games are I said 9 can 8, 9, 10. So with City now, you have to be tactically aware and smart to play at the City club. So regardless of whatever happens, there's a lot of repetition through their play from the back and a lot of detail like the manner. So now Haaland has been given an area to get involved as and when. And that's when he gets involved. When he's not in his area, do whatever you want to do until he gets into your area. So what I'm saying is with Haaland now, and obviously having Pep now, we'll grow higher and better. Even though some games need different, or more way of play different now. I feel that Haaland will especially score more goals compared to his goals involvement with Mbappe. For me, as a coach, I'll choose Haaland all day.
See, Freddie will cast that from a coach's point of view.
Okay.
Now, if I'm speaking from a club ownership or an agent perspective, Mbappe for me all day has a higher ceiling, and Mbappe can play different positions. His appeal to the world is much more than Haaland. If you're talking about commercial revenue, how much money can you bring in from your club? You sign Mbappe, his shirt sales alone will be way more than Eric Haaland. And on a footballing perspective, for me, Mbappe has way more to his game than Haaland. Haaland is a old school number 9 target man. He can run in behind. He's strong, but Mbappe can, in my opinion, he can do what Haaland does, but he can also do more out on the wings. The only thing that Freddie said, which is true, the discipline element of Haaland. But remember, Freddie's a coach, so everything he looks at is from a coach's perspective.
From a coach's perspective.
Who can win me the 3 points? Who can I trust?
Okay.
Me, I'm
and you're an agent, so you also look at the business perspective.
So this is where we will differ. So for me, Mbappe has the highest.
Coach, I go for Haaland for the coaching side.
Yes.
Mike, I go for the agent and business side.
Yes. Mbappe is more Kano Mami. It looks like a spoiled child. That's why I have a problem. I think proper guidance. We shall allow that send on in the Papa Association, and it looks like there's a plan. Because I said Papa say maybe Man City 2 years, then maybe Real Madrid. So there's a plan. By Mbappe, he's achieved it all. I think the upper of no, as in a young footballer, what else do you want? You have the biggest contract in France. You are so powerful. He's won the World Cup. Maybe. And I said, that French national team interview. Okay, how I play at France is different from how I play at PSG. Some controversial statements may just let him down yes, in terms of football, yeah, depending on what you want. Halad bet me am number 9, bet me am number 10, bet me am number 7.
Can it also be said Mbappe needs to play under certain coaches? The growth. I mean, they are playing under Ancelotti, Pep Guardiola.
Yeah.
You know, those coaches.
Alex Ferguson would have been perfect for Mbappe.
Yes.
Someone like Alex Ferguson.
Yes.
He needs a leader. He needs a real coach that's going to ground him. That's what he needs.
Okay.
On your side, will get to the top, but
you're not selected. Who is?
You go for.
I'm a big Mbappe fan.
Big Mbappe fan. I know you wanted him so bad at Real Madrid. I don't know if I'm the coach, but I like. I think say Haaland, because Haaland all he cares about is scoring goals, and your design he's like a machine, a goal machine. Your design say the last time that's more kind of regards to say he doesn't care about the number of touches he gets. So when you have 3 touches, no, not 3 goals in a game.
He's okay.
He's okay with that. Mbappe, I feel say Mbappe Ebia Konya. One of those coaches said, Michael Caribbean, Alex Ferguson, Unya Guardiola, Unya Ancelotti, coach me Buano through the journey to be big now. Because Christophe Galtier, that is why he feels even bigger than the coach. And with that kind of attitude, because like you are playing with Messi in one team. Imagine say a passable man while running and passing, or Jai Yungo. With that kind of attitude. On any day, Haaland.
My man summarizing.
Also
coach Muntin me carefully. Do you know how I assess players?
Why?
Me show 3 criteria. Not even because me show about one match man to play with a good player. The first criteria, the most important criteria to me, your brain.
Okay.
Uvi ball any na the ball.
So then I declare
and if they listen to me carefully, they will understand me.
And the other how
I know, but I'm sorry, but it has to be said.
Okay.
I'm sorry for the career, but it has to be said. A brain, what only Steve Nico, the Liverpool legend, or ESPN, see what is behind between your ears. Football is with the brain. So when who's had say football, the brain you never understand football. It's the brain and a better what you do with your legs, your hands, your feet, everything, your chest, everything in your brain. But we want what you call the football brain. Football brain is a show be no baller. The decision making. Decision making. It's a ball we me family na has in embo. Me money say me cross it this time. Shouldn't go this time. Me move into this space. Over defenders were defensive awareness. We defend a good Bobby, you can just in your thing. Because when you got to tackle a quarter form, because he knows he has defensive awareness around him. Sadly, you can polish it along the way, but I believe from all my years in football, I believe there I do much idea one the ball now when I say, oh, we are going to go to my pass, polo type no. Or my passer, one pass number 2 in him. In the football brain. In the same brain, and I want a mentality so. Nippon mentality.
Okay.
I did about come and pay Cristiano Ronaldo as him. For me, a player also has strong mentality and managing is Cristiano Ronaldo. That willingness to persevere. You look at his age. Look at how physically fit he is. He works hard. Or that strong winning mentality. I'm the best. I want to be the best. One category. I'm going to say the brain and the boy. Next time he has on the player and say, "O technique."
Yeah. Okay.
O technique. And the coach ready line. I show technique be breed. In the Liga. Last time say no more it's because I got to go near so much Nico ye could technique be poor.
It's so opportunity to be say Pogo Lord. Meeting come because the corners of frame no stream say oh my giant and I'm the Lord. What should match in terms of the technique of the players on the pitch where you have person know. And he told me something cry what's he talk? Even at the academy level, when he tried to teach them the proper technique now,
yeah.
At academy level, there are much more Premier League players. In talking Lord, then me it means baby na you say better technique no. I think it's a bit too late. Probably we should go back to like 8 years, like Europe no.
The best time of development from the age of 7 to 10.
Okay.
That's the best time of development for you to develop, especially their technical ability. 18 is we've gone on the starting sometimes a bit late.
Yeah.
And from the ages of 7 to 10, that's when you really enforce it on them to make sure if you sometimes require repeated sessions for a 6 weeks period, which is what we do in academies, London. It could be the same topic, but I may repeat 5 days in a week.
Okay.
Throughout the 6 weeks. So they be as much as possible. No, sometimes it becomes boring for the players, but as much as possible.
But they need to assimilate it. Yeah.
Yes.
COVID does technique and skills make come because with good techniques they may improve skill out the bubble. No, intimate player now mission the technique. How no control ball. Ball for you, but just one touch and drop a ball right in front of him. The last part, for the sometimes in my country, England, they put that one ahead. Near me is physical ability. To me, and the third one, the last one. You need the body to be in a state, say, a bit more implementing what the brain wants the body to do.
Yeah.
Because the brain is also easy now when you're physically fitter, you can't. But sometimes we say data, somehow, so or running 11 kilometers. More huge problem is that one day and you could feel this animal on come. As na go for DNA evidence from the DNA they got company near to us now to start DNA 2011 22 okay and you 1 year they actually bought the company just to improve our data near stars. But now stars no cannot measure brain. What am I saying? The stars can only measure the third part with the physical ability, no. How many runs now? How many? It is good, but I not necessarily not about recruit player. Intimation, we use a criteria way of assessing the football brain on the independent team.
Okay.
And then the most important is to me. So especially defenders, but who will be say Rio Ferdinand, who say Franco Baresi. How many times say Franco Baresi like or slight tackle? Maldini can say. One of the best interviews was time ago say, "Oh, you're desperate tackle, no? That's what failure as a defender." Yeah. So defending is not about tackling. Gangs are gonna also defender there. Obi kono konsana say.
But the money code.
Now and only idea of defend, but defending here, you read the game and be able to anticipate danger and be able to position yourself in such a way that you don't have to be run a lot. There's a case about you have Stam more, Manchester. No, one of the issues that's not data and some neighbor. You have Stam, not the level of tackling, they reducing. So the interpretation then was that okay, then if we make like 80 tackles a season ago, and I am making 60 tackles, it means you are declining. Do you agree with that? Do you agree with that analysis and that solution?
Not really.
You don't. But that was the issue that came up. So eventually they said. But probably he was getting more experience and he was positioning himself better than the previous season.
Okay.
Do you understand?
It's on your more
tackles. Yeah. It's not a data analysis near to be a Haaland near Image the Mbappe was skills the channel. Undoubtedly. Physical abilities, I will put them at par. But the ODB between Mbappe and Edino.
Hey, brain.
Yeah, no. If you ask me, Haaland or higher ceiling, Obesha more goals than Mbappe.
Well, let's talk about goals. And if I wait to Sumi and Radi, I mean, goals scored by, you are looking at the greats. If you are looking at Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, no matter the age of 22, goals are not much. Haaland at 22.
That thing is remarkable. Serious. Very serious. The difference is too huge.
It's huge. I mean, even when you combine Messi, Ronaldo, goals scored by a 22. Haaland is 170. Obi sending message said we should all understand that Haaland is not a footballer but a goal scorer. Also the ball no only the answer on the more and he'll give you the goal.
24-25. Not Ronaldo a winger. So you also saw her stats and obviously Messi so played as a number 10, not as an out and out striker. Until so drew back. Or no started as an out and out striker. If you can't really compare number 10 or a winger to a number 9 now, out and out striker.
But it is so remarkable.
It is
171. I couldn't believe it.
The divisions as well. The Bundesliga, let's be honest, is a far, and even the club he was at before he joined Borussia.
No, this blew the Malmo.
Malmo, So for me, these stats I don't think they're accurate because of the divisions. Those are huge factors. Ronaldo was playing in the Premier League at a most competitive time when Arsenal was at their peak, when Abramovich came with the money for Chelsea. So Ronaldo's statistics playing in a more difficult division, I think, for me, is more impressive than Haaland's.
As football agents, Michael, statistics, play a part in, let's say, players you get involved with, and as doing all those big deals for the players.
For me, I've seen a big change in data versus natural recruitment, especially within clubs. So clubs like Brentford, for example, and the new Chelsea owner, Todd Bowley, they're obsessed with data. They won't even go on correct game crowd to watch a player. They want to see how many kilometers did you run, how many sprints did you make, how many assists did this player make, how many goal contributions did this player make. As a defender, how many goals did he stop, how many goals is he likely to stop, how many headers does he jump up for, how many headers does he win. They're obsessed because people have to understand football is a business, and in any business you do your due diligence, you do your research, and then you either buy the product or buy the service. It's the same concept as football, and this is what these owners, like the Brentford owner, like the Chelsea owner, my personal opinion as a football agent, I have to go and see the player.
Thank you.
I have to see the player. I have to go there live, not even on television. I have to go there live, see how he warms up. These things are important because as a football agent, you make money off the player's success. And if this player is not the full package, then you're not going to make money. So you need to go.
I don't know, but why not on TV? But do you want to see him like?
It's preference. But for me, I like to see how you warm up. I like to see how you are with your teammates. I like to see if you're a leader. Do you speak to your teammates, or are you quiet? Do you go off by yourself and do your own stretches? I like to see these things. So when I talk to the player and I'm trying to sign the player, I know a bit more about his psyche. You can't see these things on television.
Excellent.
They show you the highlights, little things. When your teammates score a goal, do you go and celebrate with them, or do you go back and go back to the halfway line? These small things I try and understand, because it's important to understand the player's psyche. Mikel Antonio, when his teammates score a goal, he doesn't go and celebrate. He goes back because he wants to score the goal himself. That's his mentality.
So how many games do you watch to have a full scout report?
Me when I first started, I would watch how many games of a player?
Yes, of a
player, yeah.
Twice. If I see a player twice, then I'll be sure if this player is someone that I can sign, and I'll be sure that this player can either play in the Championship, the Premier League, Bundesliga, La Liga. I'll be able to understand his level. I need to see it twice.
Just twice.
Okay, so who playing it twice? I will tell us okay. The level where they be a Championship, and I say they go for the Bundesliga and then go for the Premier League and all those things. So who sign player anywhere? Now be a player on a ball. Let's say we are Reece James, Mikel Antonio, they are playing at that top level. So we are involved in their career. What are the things out here to
100%. In football, everything changes very, very quickly. Mikel Antonio, when he signed for West Ham, he didn't play a game. He signed in August 2016. He didn't play his first game until December. So for those 4 months, you can imagine what he was going through. So he needed his representation. He needed his agents to go and speak to Slaven Bilic, go and speak to Dave Sullivan. What's going on here? What's happening? Why is the player not playing? Feed that information back to your client. So it's circumstantial. Kouyaté, when I moved him from West Ham to Crystal Palace, Manuel Pellegrini had just come in. He wasn't playing him. He was playing Pedro Obiang. So although these players are at the elite level, that they're highest, the agent's role is very, very important. Of course, players like Haaland, Mbappe, Ronaldo, if I'm honest, the agent doesn't have to do too much work. But for players that are playing in the Premier League, there's always work for the agent to be done. If it's not football, there's also commercial deals. Reece James is, he's going to sign a huge deal for either Under Armour or Nike. I'm negotiating that in the process now. So there's always something to do. But the peak and the bulk of the work is always within the transfer window. That's when you're really working.
Coaches, sometimes they don't get upset. Let's say Evan Xavier Reece James is not being played. then maybe you want to find out why and all those things. How do they take those things?
They don't like it. They don't like it because the coaches, they'll tell you that they know everything. Freddie will tell you that his way is the best way. The team he's playing is the best team he's playing. So when an agent comes in, and an agent in their mind is not a coach, he's a business guy, he's not a football guy. When you come in, you have to come in aggressive. They don't like it, but you have to.
Okay.
If you don't do that, again, I always say this: football is a business, and it gets to a stage where these football clubs, they treat these players like a spreadsheet, like an asset, like a decimal point on a spreadsheet. They don't start treating them like humans, and this is why representation is so important at the highest level. Players need agents to fight their corner. Rich James can't go and speak to Gary Potter or Tuchel, why are you not playing me? You can't do that because it's a conflict. It's going to mess him up. So he has to have someone coming in to back him, but someone that's sensible, someone that's respected. Not just anyone that can come in and start shouting. There has to be an element of respect there. So they don't like it, but it's part of it. It's part of it.
So are you managing the sisters or?
No, I'm not managing Lauren. I'm really close with Lauren, but I'm not managing her. The women's side of the game, to be honest,
it's a bit different.
I've been reading a bit about the duties of agents, and a document near available includes babysitting.
Babysitting.
Yes.
That's babysitting out.
Babysitting.
The player.
The babysitting in TB.
Babysitting includes babysitting.
But that's why we have, and I'm glad we have this.
Yeah, so you manage transfers on their behalf, negotiate contracts, handle marketing and media inquiries.
Correct.
You do that?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
You support players with personal issues, handle grievances with the club.
I had the personal issues. I want to be personally, but I want to be interested. I mean, the role you play in the development of players. I know, but how about also getting players? Sometimes some of them are bad boys. Agents, do you get involved with their personal life sometimes when you feel say influence on their careers?
100%. And I'm a young black guy living in UK, so the type of players that I'll sign are similar to me, like me. So with these players, they have this reputation, they have this aura about them. When you see the young boys like Saka play or Mikel Antonio play, they have this swagger about them. That's how they are. So these players, sometimes they land themselves in difficult situations. As the agent, you have to be there, you have to be involved, you have to know their partners' names, their families' names, their children's names. You have to be involved and you have to protect them. One of my biggest tactics I use to protect them, I try and have a relationship with all the major news outlets. So the Sun, the Daily Mirror, the Telegraph, all of these people. I have good relationships with them. I take them out, I take them to dinners, I give them tickets, so that if my player lands in a situation, before it comes out into the public, I'm already stopping it because of these relationships. So this is a tool that I've used. I've had to learn to use it because some of my players have landed themselves in trouble and I didn't know what to do. So I learned that the media, especially in England, is very, very important. But the personal day-to-day life, you have to have a close relationship. This is why it's impossible for a top agent to have too many players. Because if you represent 30, 40, 50 elite players, it's impossible for you to have this relationship.
Okay.
No, I feel
the top that
babysitter.
As and when required.
Yes, and when required. Maybe player ne kobobo ne bano say was so penani bimano ne.
Parents.
I read. That's what I read. And there's a bit about the welfare advice, the cars the players use, the housing, the banking.
That's also a very important one, especially for young guys, young black guys in UK. The financial element of it. Footballers almost the highest rate of bankruptcy in any profession in the UK. Can you imagine that? Footballers have the highest rate of bankruptcy
with all the money they make
and divorce after their careers. Their careers span from 17 and 36, 37 if you're lucky. And after that, they have the highest rate of bankruptcy. So one of my biggest tools is when I sign you, every contract we do, whether it's a footballing contract or a commercial contract, I'm going to go through everything with you. I'm going to give you almost a legal lesson, all the clauses, what you're signing, because we have this mentality as young blacks. When a big contract, 1 million, 2 million is in front of you, you just want to sign.
Yes.
You don't want to read.
You don't want to read it.
So commercial contract understanding is very huge for me. Tax advice, financial planning. I've gone and studied. I've gone and done courses as I've been an agent, just so I can have a full understanding of these things.
Wow.
So my players have these contracts, especially players like Reece James, who have huge contracts, and there's image rights involved and there's salaries involved. These things are very complex issues, so you have to have an understanding, and your player has to have at least a small understanding about what they're signing. It's very, very important. So financial planning, tax advice, pensions, investments, all of these things, for the elite player, you need to have that. Now, what an elite agent should do is, you can have an understanding, but you want to surround your player with experts in those fields. So Mikel Antonio has a financial advisor, he has a football agent, he has a commercial agent, he has all of these people built around him. That's why when you see Reece James's picture, there's 5 or 6 different people. The lawyer's there, the father's there, you know, there's another agent there. These people are his team, because it's impossible when you're earning 200,000 a week, 250,000 a week, you're playing for a Chelsea football club. It's impossible for one person to manage all of your affairs. The same way a musician or an actor has a publicist, he has a PR person, they have this. So the elite level footballer is they have a team around them and not just one person.
Wow.
Is that making sense, guys?
Yes, a lot of sense. Yes, a lot. I always need first-hand information. I'm so glad you're here. You have no idea. But what I want to know from someone who also stays in the UK, I have a feeling there's a bias against the black players. And that bias has been there since, I don't know, since time immemorial, from Viv Anderson to all those players, Paul Parker. Anytime a black player says, like what they did with Sterling, that was very harmless. If a black player buys something, it becomes like this guy from the ghetto has money and is, I don't know how they get at the end. They don't do it to white guys. They don't.
Probably because they be a homo broke near the black.
Whites as well.
Seriously.
All of them.
Black guy need to be here. I say he's been overpaid or minimum, and like the Daily Mail, those funny newspapers, they will take them on. Sterling has been so strong and so vociferous against Adui. I'm so happy. I like him so much for that. And no, how do you do as an agent? Most of your clients here black.
What you're saying is very, very true. If a young black player gets a new contract and he buys a house for his mum and a car, the title of that news report will say, Flashy Marcus buys £7 million home for his mum after making 3 appearances in the Premier League. That's what the title will say. But when a young white guy, you know, Phil does a great thing for his mother and paying his first paycheck for his mother's home. Oh, what a delight. That's what the title. So the narrative is different. The narrative is different. But I always try and educate the young black players. Listen, in England, there's 6% of us in the whole country. Only 6%. This is not our country. So when these things happen, you have to be strong and deal with it. You have to be strong. I'm not saying accept it and move on, but it's the way it is. It's how it is. And the only way you can change it is your performances on the pitch, how you manage yourself, and then your money that you make, do the right things with it. You can't stop anyone from writing these things. So as an agent, I try not to become too emotional or personalized. It's the way it is. There's nothing we can do about it, because this isn't, we're a minority in that country, a very, very small minority, and people are always going to have bias. So what do? Try and use that to give you more strength and play your football, so people only talk about the footballing element. That's the advice you have to give the players.
Well, interesting. Also,
the babysitting here means pampering them and doing stuff that a parent will do for a child in order to get them, or in order to get what you need from them. So that's what babysitting basically means. But Emra Bena Ober Presa or player being a contract extension. Is it like 18 months to the end of his contract, 13 months? Because here in Ghana, a lot of contracts run out and we complain. And when we are signing contracts, we sign 2 years, but Reece James will sign 5, some will sign 6. What's the ideal situation?
Very good question, because every club has their own way of working. Todd Bowley, he's coming, he owns the LA Dodge, a baseball team in America. He owns 12% of the Lakers, a basketball team in America. In America, almost whole concept, almost formula is to sign long-term contracts, 6, 7, 8. So about Premier League, and he wants to do that same thing with Chelsea. Now, in England, players, they don't sign 6, 7, 8 years contract. I would never advise my player, no matter how good he is, no matter how stable the club is, to sign 6 or 7 year contracts. That's my personal opinion. But the clubs will have their own ideals of doing it. That's one element. Also, the players also have their own ideas. Some players, they like to take risk. Some players more prefer security. And remember, I work for the player, so I'll give them advice. But ultimately, it's their choice. Mikel Antonio, for example, he started playing late. He wasn't a professional at 17, 18. At 21 is when he started playing. So he always says, Mike, give me long contracts so I can secure my family's future. So when I go in to negotiate Mikel Antonio, it's different to when I go to negotiate for Reece James. Everything is circumstantial. There's no right answer for each. With Reece James, he's young. We're England international. He's, in my opinion, we're the best fullback in his position. I won't commit him to a long-term contract. His contract at Chelsea is a 5+1 option, but he already had 3 years left on his contract already. So it made sense to extend for 2 years, and then we'll see what happens. By the time that contract is finished, he'll be 27. That's his peak of his career. Mikel Antonio is 31. So his next contract, forget the money, I'm trying to get as many years as possible to sustain him. So that is every situation is very, very dependent on the player's expectations and what the club also want to do. But that's the biggest fight you have.
Okay, well, it's here for IIP on 95.7 FM. Yani, Dr. Safajewa, Michael Apiasen, football agent for players to be quiet. Reece James, Koyate, Mikel Antonio,
Samuel Dozie.
Good
player. Jody Osei Tutu. He's gone to Bochum.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a very good player.
Where is he now?
He's at Bochum in the Bundesliga.
Okay.
But I wanted to ask about Mikel Antonio, because I've liked him ever since Coach Freddie mentioned or a part of the boys. I follow him. What do you think the recruitment of Skamaka, what would they do to him? I was wondering.
Good.
Would they help him? Would they hinder him? Or what will happen?
But good. It's very, very good for him. Mikel Antonio, any player, you need competition.
Okay.
When you know every week you're gonna start, no matter how well you play, how bad you play, even if you're playing at 60%, you have injuries, you're gonna play. It's not, in my opinion, it's not good. It bodes complacency. So I think the arrival of Skamaka has made Mikel Antonio, his training sessions are now more intense. He's taking things a bit more serious. Not that he was relaxed, because he's a very determined and he's a very good professional. But the arrival of Skamaka will help him and has helped him, for sure.
I have a picture of okay.
Yes, a picture of Richard. Oh,
Obviously, Brofu Penny.
Rich James picture be about wire tattoo be or ne kon. My life, my story.
Just last week I wear a tattoo because he's been on international and in Casa. Reece James.
Yes. Why would you? My life. That there's a lot to it.
I don't know. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, but now, Michael, Dog Okano. About sterling, I did producers not pulling it. That's a lot of sterling. 180,000 a week. England flop. Raheem shows off blinging house he bought for his mom, complete with jewel encrusted bath.
Is this fair?
No.
I mean, it's terrible.
Absolutely.
With this publication now was in the UK. This very thing. I mean, how?
No, but send that. They be asking some catcher man. Maybe come with some chance. And the money is Harry Maguire. I'm going to change to Bruno. Can you say? Coach, Harry Maguire tomorrow in the boss abon obona. Come up permanent free team ni mu da. Because Harry Maguire yard ye channel. Ivy good. Bailey yard ye channel. So ko. Self we don't zoom in more. Sometimes it happens like that.
National team the easiest job but the hardest job to do. Meaning say if it makes sense. The easiest job in the sense we training it be a what mobile matches be every 3 months. You've got 3 months to prepare.
Yes.
But you've got short time to have the team to prepare them for the game.
To set them up, have the shape and all that.
It is sometimes when coaching has gone in so much for the last 2-3 years at Southgate by our boss Hana. Sometimes now to bring in someone like Tomori, and obviously Tomori when he was at Chelsea. Listen, good player now, but your career Man City. I told you. And some having to encounter him. Top player. But for me, he's not an England starter. That's just for me. If say, oh, Harry Maguire at the moment, obviously, he's not much fit. He's not as sharp as you want him to be. So people would say, Manimebo. But when there's so much coaching that's gone in there for the past 2-3 years, Southgate, Maguire, Juma Abisina, not so intimate drop no, but you got to be careful when to drop him. Because I could drop him way too early, especially at the World Cup. Tomorrow he's never been at the World Cup. Well, Euros means to be. He's never been at a tournament. And it's why here, that's why I could drop a high-profile player in a Manchester player. That's it, all of a sudden now. What did tomorrow boom? And especially even being at England youth levels, and he wasn't one of the best centre backs they had there at the time as well.
Gay is not easy. Also not beginning a chance.
I think Freddie will protect him too much.
Too much.
England v Germany, Namo Stadium. You didn't watch that game. He's in a bad space. His confidence is low.
Absolutely.
For me, I would never start him for the first game of the World Cup, and I think we'll protect him. But you haven't watched him in the last game. If you saw the mistakes he made for the penalty and he gave the ball away, I think he's a good player. But his confidence is too low to be starting in a big tournament.
Okay,
in my opinion.
Well, no one does so now. Because Michael Sogakraba make cut dog because dog there no Freddie Abem Kaka. I mean, my local games ni.
David, see, you be 4 days.
I'm be 4 days. Oh, when I'm going to be able to go in short time, I'm going
to suspend the league.
I know once me break out.
Eti, the Abba share. Remember, he must respect to nationality switches in this animal, because agents also influence on who play. Because I said Callum Hudson, but I know against Bayern. He wasn't bad. The only thing is that. Now, Bayern was just too good for, Liverpool. Now, Omen a very terrible start to the season. So, and we'll talk about that young guy, Musiala.
Fantastic.
That guy is good.
I think it relates to my question. Obit said Musiala. How would you find Ben Obetchin about staple him? As an agent,
yeah.
So Musiala, now about my Chelsea, I even used to speak to his dad before he went to Bayern. He was at Chelsea, and just like any other player, you approach them, you go and watch the game, you speak to the family, you tell them about the players you represent, the work that you've done, and you try and convince them to come to your stable. It's like it's a sales job.
Yeah, it's a sales job.
Players like Haaland, Messi, Ronaldo, as an agent, it's almost impossible to try and sign. But Musiala is a young guy. There's so much that needs to be done in his career. He's flying now, but it can go any direction. So, but it's just an approach.
And he's a South London boy, so try and get him. I mean,
Now, Doc, Yamra, Siega Krebi. Black Stars. Black Stars. Why are Black Stars 2 games? Now, there are calls. Over for Black Stars performance, say, does it make sense to have a technical team that has Chris Hughton also on advising? Now, countryman will say, a scouter. Countryman say, now, Oma Otuado rather, coach. I mean, me who say you use words be on Twitter. Some of them were too harsh. But at the point, say you have to make reference to them. Obviously, you don't bring an amateur to do a pro's job because the World Cup stage is too big to have someone like Otuado. And the ocean, you also my drink kakra.
In fact, no more drink be kakra. When sometimes we lose what you called epoch moment, like history making moments.
Okay.
Sometimes 10 years, 20 years back, you look back and say, like who says that opportunity in Suarez, me penalty them than me. Says yes, Suarez or the J-Bona and Ghana World Cup semi-final. I don't know when you're going to get the opportunity again.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you Bonnie head here question.
No, no, so protected and watching.
No, chino. Me,
I know they are born in any Ajiba to was a Boshe. Women will be also some fantasy about that. But I mean, this is football. You just
penalty 50-50. You know it.
And 50-50
penalty.
David.
Oh,
Germans, they say 50-50. And 50-50.
No, what I mean is 50 means that
there's a chance for
you can score, you can miss. That's what I mean by 50.
But
you can score, you can miss.
Yes.
That's what I mean by 50. Not because
50 for the goalkeeper, 50 for the.
You can miss, you can score.
Okay, so there's 50-50. So the technical side of the player striking the ball, no 50, and the technical side of the keeper trying to save the ball, which is 50.
That's what I mean.
So I agree with that.
Yeah, 50-50. Yeah. But that goal.
But then not.
No, but that goal was a certainty. 50-50. That ball was going to the net. It was a certainty.
Well, doctor,
that's what I'm saying. I'll blame Suarez. World Cup for Ghana. Luckily, because Ghana's chance I may say power was the 1966 World Cup. African boy Kotuna Ghana team ball qualifiers because this World Cup. That would probably have been our best performance at the World Cup. Because the 6 new team here, it was solid. Team na board just 3 Nations Cup and Chromasi also move from them into a occupy new horizons. Just took a few nomne or Seiko Phenomene, Franco doing no ever boss 65. And they won. Into by 66 no. Cool nation be baby only identify yasa integrity more so there integrity 66 3 team no and this is 5 team no. Into be saying fun one course is 5 Nations Cup. By City no or South Nations Cup. International team were clearly by far the best team in Africa. And get World Cup and we don't know what would have happened. Be the North Korea we never know. International one history is broken in now. Only maybe everyone may say your chance at glory. Say chance have maybe
okay.
And I'm if so to do Otoado underrated this whole Ghana job no. Open time who about Otoado. Yeko Nations Cup to make Ghana say we as the assistant coach you prefer to be with
Dortmund
but not be at the Nations Cup with Ghana. Because what does that tell you about the person's priority?
Dortmund. The priority is Dortmund, of course.
A whole nation eco tournament at a point in our history, and then I had your mind. But we are still one of the best teams in Africa in terms of Nations Cup. Yeah, called Nations Cup. We a coach for the national team, assistant coach. You say, oh no, I will prefer to stay with Dortmund rather than come to the Nations Cup. And they're calling coach,
no, mean supporting at all. I'll let my comment. Remember, Mike Swabam be here. What I need to understand now is, yet here, by all means, if you are a doctor, you're approaching a pain. Sometimes you're approaching more. I mean, radio presenters and everything. But I always say it comes with what they bring to the table.
Okay.
And if it's a project and it suits what you want to do as a coach. So now, say you're often a job now. That's what no Phil said. The terms in the job or the terms in whatever they've asked him to do, and you're good enough for. Let's say I often say, listen, if I call African Cup bra, one call final, you be you dear. What's the matter? Then what does he do? Knowing the project behind him, the staff behind him, or more no there's certain things he's asking for. And I've always said, listen, so my training my facilities and my equipment are really important to me.
Yeah.
It's yes, me made training war. Man for the Champs Park, maybe I saw to senior. Yes, I mean, African Cup straight away. My plan and how I want to play them might not even work because of the facilities I'm using. So I'm saying, sir, the approach in Sano, what was being told, what was he promised? Staff Ben and no pioneers here, Debemano. Ghana, see what a
no, you was an
assistant coach of the team.
And yet,
and the Cup of Nations, and the point is that the Cup of Nations, so Mama Dortmund, but I had Mama Ghana. It's a Cup of Nations means I also free Dortmund
in the
short term.
Short term, just the Nations Cup period. 2-3 weeks period.
And also there be also Obel Dortmund to the Encombra.
It's not make us. It comes back to the same thing I'm saying, sir.
What was the offer?
No, not necessarily money. You need to understand, sir. Okay,
job security.
Not necessarily. No. Say no. Must say on Ramian African Cup, but on share be a staffing. A day can be part of the staff to say you're quite be at and you call Comoros, right?
Yes.
Right. So now, Anna Comoros go share by. Thank you, boy. We wouldn't DB. But now you money DB. It's impossible, no. Or no one say.
Don't take up the job. Because
after.
No, before he was already an assistant.
No, because they make say after say Okasa on kono. I acquire by a part of the setup I acquire and it was even possible say Milo never on that time. Milo coin big crown kono so beko. If Senko a part of it. And I say it be a Milo no year jumano. crown bia or can be beach for no papa no enti he doesn't feel he doesn't feel more involved in them.
Tell the people who appointed you, because already we were being paid as an assistant coach. When yes after approaching for the next couple, he was substantive. He was the assistant coach. Then the nation is going to the next couple. The nation said because of your commitments or Dortmund, you can't leave because of the time, the period they bought Nations Cup. You can't leave Dortmund commitments. I'm a assistant coach to Ghana.
Maybe that was
my first red flag.
That was no.
That was my first red flag because you should see that job as a huge opportunity. So yes, I'm to adu. So can I do this? I'm fun.
Yeah.
The only time I convinced him was Nigeria games.
Yeah.
Now you have to be honest. And we beat the Nigerian tactically.
Yeah.
We were not better than them in terms of skill or whatever, but the tactics were spot on. And then it was spot on. We qualified against Nigeria. Fine. If Nigeria match the match games are apart from Madagascar. So if you close your eyes, now share games and latter part of Kwesiapia to seek Akuno. Complete and winning, and then I will be great. Can say go create me go. Just structure. Never you born in Kono.
Asaba.
Optimistic sano.
Yeah.
I mean, principles. I mean, go back. Obi from 2006 basically 2010 game pa ban Blasters boy ya o share when it jeep one game memorable game that they will you feeling good in terms of tactical approach the way ball no.
From 2006.
Ghana Czech Republic.
Ghana Czech.
Very good game.
Ghana Italy.
Good game.
We lost that game, but I know my Italians in the Ghana.
Only game I miss manager. Game manager. Yeah, the couple Brentford 4 Park and old stadium Brentford.
Then Nigeria and 4-1.
Go and watch that game again. Luckily on YouTube. If you take your time, they should be Ghana. That was the time you 4 midfielders in your ball one game. Lai, ACN, Sule. Appear boy, share 4-1. That game, many country must go to hey, fantastic game. That's the image of Ghana. You're born at this peak, like I like the Czech Republic game. Yeah. That's Ghana. But so we Ghana baller. So now can identity, system. So I had with Sika Kuno Milo also disappointed me. The same issue. You're born. The players think on the ball. You can't play game or players no onyabola or giants and obo. No team can function that way in the world. Also automatic. Also automatism be them. Say na make about access players no. Play or wadwin no. Otimi improvise be brave. Nti bi unya mezi bi otimi idea no atambo no atwu bi na akosi. But when your players are no any good no more technique and physical ability now, give them a system that works for them.
Yeah.
So you build the system maybe we play like Tiwakot. Tiwakot is me also ni ball with that because me share adwin no. Tiwakot ni ball adwin. Otimi okodu pomana decision making. Also ban also crossing. But as na team system be na Tiwakot function. Otimi share 4 goals in the game. It's that structure no. And even a club here me club asem no. He built a system that works when the players. If the club player, if the team we say as any ball no aba form. Because club builds a system and the players it works for the players like Trent Alexander-Arnold. England go to me more, but Liverpool because they're one of the best players in the world because that system works for him.
Yeah.
Until you build a system that will work for your players. Coach way or to Dubai mission matches they come and say they are qualified for World Cup. Nyame adom. Say of all the countries in the world, don't pick say we want to play with. On never find in a couple more. Say want to play with Ghana.
So Ghana no more.
Kofi, the best test you are going to get to assess your team for the World Cup was the match against Brazil. So no be Ghana, no opinion no be no. Ethic so serious so the first team never. Now Obiaye wadom am such a huge game for you to assess your players no. Say am for say Obiaye Obi no, they are not a strong coach. Only me views about strong coaches. Yeah. Take the bold decisions. No acquire lineup will be a coach for the kind. Me lineup, you.
Now line up, it looks like everybody was angry. Everybody, I mean, when you so upset.
You line up, I'm saying, what do I do? This Kofi, let me ask you, be aware, we just had 2 games, no? What have you learned about the Blasters? Nothing. Obi, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Ye nim se bacteria ne bebu ayo, se bafo ne bebu ayo, se webo ha ne bebu ayo. Nothing. As of now, if you ask any serious Ghanaian football pundit, be able to go. Nothing. Ye nim such a deco World Cup, no. Ye nim information he kobo. Ye nim ye tactics. Ye nim ye attacking philosophy deco. Defensive. Ye nim be. Now we have only 1 game. The Sri Lanka, look, everyone know Obi and the squad they go and play Switzerland.
But I didn't your money no. The last time MSM tweets to be one of the FA people called me, so I was too harsh. Yeah, so Mami, Tima, Omobo bet 20 passes between the central defenders and the defensive midfielder. Back pass. Baba Idrisu.
Baba, or say dropping.
Back pass.
It's so obvious.
So
even in Nicaragua, I thought the Brazil name under pressure.
Hi. I was watching the coach. Let me hear them now. I don't need me help on now. Baby say we are going on the attack. You call on the offensive Anna. Almost square ball on the man. Baba Idrisu. Or 10 years. No Obama central defenders.
Maybe I was saying no more pressing and
there's it
into space one enemy.
Clear space, open space on them. I'm telling you.
No,
he kind of gave him a pass for the Brazilian game, and the crowd game say, Maza.
Because I Nicaragua game, no, me say Amatene. Salisu pushy ball, no money driving ball.
Over the man outside their bench.
Salisu pan on the progress of the ball. The best for our team.
Technique, I got what him. Salisu jibbo now. What is that? Is a player.
It could be a tactical instruction.
Tactical. Yeah, on the team, no, we don't play to. There's a code Kaze. Maybe they were working on the shape of the team. Clearly, you are not sure about the shape of the team because and once you are going to national, say okay, over 3, over 2, you defend, you do this, you do this. For a player, let's imagine, say, you have a player like Kudus. We have a player like Inaki Williams. Technically, you know, those players are good. Game out here, no. Now to me, identify there's a technical something around pattern. Nothing.
Normally, before you select a team, and I say before you select your first 11, where are your best players available? So now, best players, your infants will be Dr. Michael. What you doing is you play the best system around your best players. Yeah. It's what you saw Mowi and where they play best, in regards to infants Kudos being one of our best players in Naki. We don't say Naki will run behind all the time. If you need someone that's good on the ball, that can always try and hit them. To say I got that pass and say So now you find the players that go in there and make sure that this system that you've created works. For me, Ghana is your best system for the players that we have now. We're 3-1-4-2, and the 3-1-4-2 will be Salisu on the left, Jeku on the right, and Amate central. Now it be a Party just in front of him because Party anytime I'll be playing with 2 basins and he struggles. And why we Arsenal for no push Zaka to go more, so they be on be free, so they be on a bit management. So now you leave him there. Now, possibly Wabo Chre and another midfielder, which I don't know.
The ball Crystal Palace here. You get
Slop.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We need him.
Slop them say good friend is we need
him desperately.
Because all the agents in anyway.
It's
Slop your client.
And Slop
your client.
But part of
the agents. Oh, okay. Then you need for my help us. We need him.
What's the problem?
Please try and help us.
I'll make the phone call. Don't worry.
Yes, please.
I feel the Tariq Lam to have a show right. On the left, and possibly I would go for
Gideon Mason.
No, not necessarily. I would go for
Osman Bukari.
No, Obi Oyewe, winger, but right footed.
Yes,
Palmadine and Asa Paints, one of them.
Okay.
Not 2 strikers, no Kudos, and you give him a free role, play Naki up front, because you know say Naki will run the lines for you, and Kudos is very technical. Until your chance that you get your goals.
I say more record number send him out to
at the same time, also our base of that 4 and obviously as a free at the back as well. It is a defender, we defend like a 5 because you know Tariq could get up and down for you. Not even quite tactically, you can even leave or winger now you're right footed no more up than say or be defended too much because still no or party watch and another defensive midfielder like in Schlop and I say yes, but I'm some more back with the no, or one friend of
Salis
Ashmeru
Majid Ashmeru, very good player.
It is some more know how you know such threat and Ashmeru will give you all the hard work party being there, no? And at the same time, so Tariq will get up and down for you. It is in transition as soon as you build Subon out of transition, no? And that's in transition, no? You know, so Tariq knows where he's going straight away, and that becomes a pattern. Does that make sense? That pattern is what you work with in training. Say you're hoping and expecting. Say, idea will be see. In Sanya, my way, and say we see. This is what we do, and that's what you work.
Freddie, you coach no one yes my way now. Even Tariq continue. Do you want Tariq again in the
Brazil game?
Yeah, Brazil game.
Baby. But it disappointed me so much.
The second half of Brazil game was better.
Because the Brazilians the Brazilian defenders say they say almost in 3 away. And if you watch all their games, they score their goals early and they close in the second half and just give other players opportunity. We are assessment with the second half now a bit flawed. Open a proper assessment of the game. What the first half when the Brazilians were playing at their peak. Second half no because I didn't learn anything because half mission on the ball second half, the ball first half Kobe. You with my assessing.
But doc, yes, you are there back. Your goalkeeper no there. The keeper no there. Oh boy, I know.
Keeper no. From the very first time, was aerial ability process. He struggles.
Is a problem.
And you say, coach, what do you do? Because now we don't
say a goalkeeper's trainer. It's a lazy coach. No. It's simple. You have a goalkeeper's trainer.
Yeah. No, he's a child now.
He likes to know.
Yeah.
I don't think he's good enough.
No, he's not good enough.
Thank you. Goalkeeper's coach. The thing is that you realize that your team deficiency is goalkeeping. What do you do? Start working. Start identifying goalkeepers. Because okay, I have like 5. Let me work on them. Let me try something. Oh yeah, he's just there. He's just there. That's the thing.
Remember, say you got out of the squad that we had. With the squad that you have now, what you tend to do is you try and get the best out of players now. So now, I always talk about patterns. Most of the time, no, and I say not all the time. The patterns here, Juma. Let's say BKB board, Bema be a doctor, Bema Obi, but maybe in BKB nya board no. But Dr. Nyabon all the time, I don't know Dr. Mpasima will be because it becomes the same pattern.
Yeah.
Because that's where we want to do. So what I'm saying is, say I'm fancy in Brazil, but we know Brazil don't do a lot of crosses. Yeah. It's when training session before Brazil game now you don't work too much of keeper not coming out to claim the ball because you know so most of the time it's not going to happen. It's through that pattern and the information you have for the club for team now is where you design your patterns from. Meaning say what's more?
Your neighbors a third goal, no free kick, no. Offensive coach had I want to look at something again.
Okay, but Brazil goals. Your Brazil.
On post time I free kick. Now you be a position you play. Now you be a did play on your toe. You be the deny. The Indians had not coach the Shema me as a coach. Then told me say yeah set piece training cry. We didn't. Because referee no goalkeeper no or poor at boss Heban is so free room. So honestly, what just say maybe you need a taller player.
Ghana no. Yeah, Nema Yidoto. You find a trial. The detail. The detail of what you put in before a game is really important. It's even fun say team I know boy or average player be a 6'1" or wherever it is. That's be able to defend the corners because we should know all this information. Name my height you're saying, way height you're saying, and how do they attack corners? How do they defend corners? It's you defend the corners now, even on the sheets of paper. And that's why most of the time Premier League and so more but assistant coaches na for paper be no appoint you. So it tells you see in your free kick maybe on 18-yard around the 18-yard box out. We are part of the wall. Be our number 1 in the wall. We are number 2 in the wall, and number 3 in the wall, depending on how many keeper in here anymore. Now, say you defend the corners and so why because short corners and I say front post corners we want someone to win it as soon as possible, so win it and make sure it doesn't go behind us. So I heard Tottenham plays a lot of short corners, but they go for the flicks with under Conte now Hurricane generation no need to so now say the patenting could na Hurricane so you're losing them. What am I saying? Do you rather we defend the corner from the front post instead of being Kudruno? Does that make sense? Until you make sure say your aerial players, and I say players no more are around that area. Listen, it could take 2-3 hours to even work on that only,
coach,
because that could be the difference in the game.
Coach,
that one,
Then you agree with those people who feel that Chris Hughton should come and stand there, coach the team, and this man should go.
Is that the solution? And only solution.
They say our problem is coaching.
Because said doc your consultancy. So we are consultant. Now nipa now okay, of course, and your composition, but say nipa ni failure, you take responsibility as well.
No. There are differences. For instance, there are people like Dr. Numon consulting for, let's say, other hospitals. Let's add them. You give your advice, you give your blueprint, you give everything. Then the back on it, Jamefe Commission, they gave us a whole report on that. They recommended certain things we should do. If people decide not to do them, you don't blame them.
No, but Chris,
if people decide not to implement them, you can't blame the one who suggested it.
But Chris, you take credit for Ghana's qualification to the World Cup now.
Coach, coach.
Technical.
Technical team credit. We give the coach credit. Maybe some Arsenal, we talk about Arteta. Who talks about Arsenal? No. Edu, Abaso for his recruitment. But you talk about Arteta, the coach. Obiano Obeka Arsenal said, please coach. A lot of people don't even know his name. A lot don't even care. All they care about is that we have a manager who is doing this, doing that. Said there are instances the man even decided to take his bag and go. Because now it will be kind of great.
No, you are taking decision every year. And you are qualified for World Cup. Then see in the last 1 week I fed the Chris Hughton. They feel it or no. I know
the feeling batch of myself. Yeah, you feeling also
on assistant coach. On your first team, on your manager at the end of the day. It's in what you can do is say you can only so by your reports. Now, what about my first team manager now? Now I explain your chance. Okay, say no more. I say no more. I say no more. And to be any say what the elite actually doing is some of the top clubs in the world doing is they have midfielders coach, they will strikers coach, and they will defensive coach, and they will in transition coach, out of transition coach. It is about 5 or 6 people I'm talking about here. It will be a in the Germany area. Na yen nyina ya tabet na sibim e de na wo hu ye de na we hu de na we hu ni na beka bu. Then no, I don't make that decision. Manager ni mum na say no. Say ni na video analyst ni na answer the near ba. It's I decided say listen, this is how we're going to go. It only decided to sign throughout the whole week and we work towards that. If say bibi baby na say when I say nyejuma, we try and change as much as possible. But it comes back to the manager. It's a manager that me nyonya adwene one person me say of course on na bibi ni ya be pam na so on na dey buy as a team. It's say near corner say near corner. It comes back to Otuado again, of course. Or when in Nigeria game ni na so Otuado and all of that. It's say and that's saying cool or no one ever say corner back. And it clearly tells us say I don't think say you beef it up. Yeah, your technical team as much as we should for the World Cup. And for me, by all means, you see the World Cup, and I say be a person the chair. But we should be planning towards the African Cup of Nations. Knowing say with the players that yet me are coming someone what national team now. You bet me I will need BB. I want to say this it is I'm planning towards that now. It becomes so much of a problem.
Well, go now, you pen in the don't go pen. And there's another angle. And then I'm saying dog pen.
It's so sad.
None of you.
It's all can warn. Right.
Those who are in front, as a country, baby, where to stand. First, baby, about never come with Jenny Moon.
And only decided by the keeper. Was the keeper on the wall?
They've done your wall.
Okay.
A free kick from the wing.
Okay.
Jerry, I don't know control idea na.
Free kick
nini.
Yes.
Okay, so go back.
Go baby. Now do answer no number.
Yeah, possible.
Yeah, perfect.
Coach who bless me.
In what sense? In the box now? Who's that? We don't call for man marking rather than a zone now. And most of the time, they say when born in and around the 18-yard box, especially on the winger, you go for zonal. You mark areas rather than players. Because remember, I said Brazil for no, or maybe try some.
And that's what happened exactly where they were. That's exactly what happened.
Because someone said they have a plan and they need power person head the ball.
Yeah.
In that area because they've worked on it. But Sebani say, and
even there was a block, or we can't block him to allow the player to head the ball.
Yeah. Says we're now heading the head overhead on the French neighbor. The challenge is no head the ball on the last part.
Yeah.
On the last part. Attacking, yes, on the all right.
So making sure that created that space for him to get in there.
Yeah.
And that tells you, say, one rehearsal.
And look at the way
blockade. The one a blockade. You join a chalice fan.
For me, it should have been zonal because the 6-yard box there, that area, especially the keeper being where he's at, or mid mashing in the back post. It could be around the 6-yard area to try and get them to go over as much as possible. Make it
slowly, but they see the movements of the players. The defending was abysmal.
Well, maybe a chalice in free by I'll be head the ball.
There's a plan to it.
Yeah. The
I'm talking about a reaction.
The defending of set pieces.
Yes, any plan.
No, the tactical side of your game, being at the World Cup, being at the Kotoko Hearts and all of that, we have a big problem in Ghana. The tactical side is always the problem. This is why I'm not funny about crying free Hanoma. I'm for possibly at the age of 16, 17. So they be on beating me about the 19s, not for at least a year or two. Exactly. And that's where they really learn the technical and the tactical side of the game. Sure. Agada's pass on mine, and I'm going back to it again. Pass on mine is expected. He's a midfielder, deep line midfielder. That pass is meant to be part of him. But everyone is talking about. Everyone is so happy. Say, oh wow, because he won as much in the league. So what I'm saying is, he should be able to do that on his right foot and on his left foot all day. It shouldn't be so much of a problem. It may make us say, regardless of how technical we are. As players, you need to understand the techniques you use in the areas to make you tactically a better player. Mr. Doctor can be say, defend. Sometimes you even defend without even touching the player or even touching the ball, and that's defending. You defend in units as a back four, maybe as a midfield, and I say, and you're one-on-ones, and so what you do. So as you approach the ball, your body shape, how they approach the ball, tells us. Maybe I'll be up and show players on fan fire because this is where you want to win it. In some areas, over shutting on the line because say or left back and that's or right back and whatever. If we want some Monday, midfielders we press it there and we try and win it. It's the first pressing is not the win. If say win a ball is okay, but the second press or the third press is what we really want to win. It comes back to the tactical side of it, which for me, your coaches could do better in regard or the biggest flop.
Yeah,
and the reasons are. Mental.
Okay.
Because mentally, they're not open to learning. And when you're not open to learning, there's a problem. Because you're always in that box. When you're watching so bit, you'll be awesome. And I always say, you guys got me saying I'm one of the best players in Ghana. So how come say now more catch him say but that's where the problem is. It says you better marry the technical and the tactical side involved, that which comes back to the social and the psychological side now. Because it works hand in hand though. Say mentally that's affecting and the social side of it and affecting the physical side of it as well, because Nigerian idea cry and I say for pitch, and on the pitch it's all about relationships, understanding each other and helping each other out. It's I feel we've got to do more.
Well, I got a pass and good Freddie can was him I got from his own
the vision look like view I mean but mama we back so
Oh yeah. Dog for any some of what is sacking because Baba heard Callum Hudson or doing it in Katiano.
But definite on Crystal. I mean, no, media. A whole team, he takes responsibility. Yeah, if there's a no, and yet, but they have to also improve it. Mistakes are evident, clear.
No, but
it's man in ten.
But my point is, yen knows yen rearrange you.
Okay.
Yen rearrange. I agree with that. Me personally, I would say, I take you by Houston.
We should rearrange. You don't take the expert backstage. No, let's be honest. A job you can create some brothers, if you have a grabby sports near you will be where you think advisor. Now, if you are doing you have to come and do the thing yourself. Yeah. No, what I'm saying is that no, it doesn't mean Chris Otimba will win that we will beat every team. But they make kind of say the pedigree of one bench one is up there. Baku with the experience, the exposure, we're managing at that biggest level. We're coaching a Premier League team. And to that alone, Omo be leading with his clout.
Okay.
Now others no, Omo money, you already did it.
I think so.
Now it's a way it doesn't make sense to have Otuado. And you could have Bundesliga B-side go man in coaching. Now I'm coaching Black Star. What are you talking about? No, yeah. As you surround the end team in Kenya, fan say Otuado, Dortmund. Oh, yes, also Dortmund. Otuado I'm coach. Otuado Union Berlin go fan coach. And Aboku go fan coach. We should answer those questions. I say Otuado no need be penny because I'm about to now reason. Okay, sama how to wait anyone. But go for because okay, I'm on Tiasia. Coach ready say national team omo be coach that and the 70 confirm 12 confirm because was better than Ali. I'm on penny sir.
Is there Otuado a local coach?
No, say local coach. Says they are local.
Okay.
Familiarity, no.
Yeah. That's why I think the problem.
Yes.
Or related too much.
Yeah. Familiarity, no. Yeah. And Michael, our technical team, I think we should rearrange it.
I think Houghton, he'll progress the team, if I'm honest. If Houghton is there, I think he'll be an advantage to the team. But I think it's too close to the tournament to make changes now.
Okay, so we should stick to...
I think you just stick, and then, like Freddie says, you're planning for African Cup of Nations.
Okay.
Better. But Houghton, for sure, the experience, the exposure that he's had, the level of knowledge he has of the game, he can only improve the Black Stars.
Okay.
But it's too close to the tournament.
How about players like Sebia Dinketia into the team, Callum Hudson-Odoi into the team, Schlop maybe into the team?
For me, Schlop, they are surprised me say he's not being picked. Because
he doesn't want to play.
That's not true. That's not true.
Okay.
That's not true. That's not true. I know him personally. It's not true. If he gets called, he will play. So it's surprising me that he's not involved.
They are telling us he said he doesn't want to play.
To my knowledge, he wants to play.
You see?
Hey!
So, that's why we need people like this, no? You see?
I see boss.
You see?
So to my knowledge, he wants to play. As for the other boys, yeah, I think Eddie Nketiah and Callum will be great for the Black Stars, but I don't know what's in their mindsets, especially Callum. I think Callum playing at Leverkusen now, if he has a good season or he goes back to Chelsea, he'll have a chance for England. Callum is a world-class player. Yeah. I've seen him since 15, 16. When he's fit and mentally he's there, top level forward. So, but I'm not sure he's 100% sure in his mind that he wants Black Stars for his future.
Okay. Well, Governor Nyogusono, Doc, Yamra had to. Oh yes.
People with insight. Because I never understood why. Only one of the callers, the free hit to grab, Michelle hit to slop. One of the callers. One in the moon on normal person, Namon, Cotton, or shop near the. You beer. Have a big grudge. I'm in the Ghana point there, if you're not yes, if you're not. And then there'll be a band because he's ready to play. And you hold this big, huge hole in our midfield because or football brain or defending well. He plays in midfield. He goes in midfield. So go square and crack home.
Yeah.
What do you need from your midfielder? Yes, try good, but Baba do so. Nyabo be another connect.
About do so dear.
What do you lose form? I mean, the confidence in Alco. He can't even pass forward.
And a pattern.
But the colleague back of frames.
Pattern is a party. Amate. And to sign a form in your crowd. Amate form, no.
When there's no clear pattern, players struggle.
Yeah.
When there's no clear pattern, we don't know who gets and who does what. Players struggle. It's a question of individuals will be any idea open or yet.
Or do you know
on measurement, and most of the time, Yana becomes a bit of a problem. From what I saw in the Nigeria game, I thought we were really going to progress to the highest level. But from Brazil selection and then Nicaragua selection, I was a bit.
Switzerland.
Could be time, you know. Unless it's Switzerland, on my game now, your mind against South Korea and 2-6. Day night, who's World Cup in Ghana, Konokai. See, a course Scotland, let's South Korea, Kobayashi, 3-1.
Yeah.
That was the music World Cup. I mean, that game was super. Sule had a fantastic game appear.
Okay.
Samobodu
is sacked as Hearts-of-Oak coach. And Yatete said George Luandamina from Zambia is likely to.
Obi Lipano.
And chicken.
Obi favorite.
Yeah.
But to him.
Oh, you're interested?
Yeah. You know, the oil for us now. You know, but meaning, assessing a coach from far near Neding. In a town of Moada, more secondary school training. You know me. Every day, I training because that's the only way you can glean. You can pick what the team is, what the coach is trying to do for the team, what individual players are doing. That's the only way. Out in chance Sunday, Sunday. One thing I say, you just why is this coach doing this? Why is he doing? But Oko training there, Tiana, yeah. But the output of the man has or Beso that second part of the season was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, and let's you be able to kind of great. It was, and I also believe that a coincide with player about me because on the Mahaji League they be out for other players. So Benjamin it was Salif Ibrahim. He changed the attacking philosophy of us that second round. The passes, or your intelligent boy, the passing, he knows how to pass. With me, passive, free players. And then has problems here.
Yeah.
There was no player on the pitch with me picky pass like this is a pass or the man.
Yeah.
That's how you should play as an offensive midfielder. Create chances for your strikers. I'm missing out. Otherwise, what you man? Into both did well. Okay, last season, because the reason why I struggled last season was the pre-season. Okay, because the pre-season, no more Africa, Lucy and team Nina did not start the season well, and the league, I win the 3 matches now. As we're struggling, the league was over. But the I made me huge disappointment. They say, then he make the same mistake this season again.
Pre-season.
Yes. Kofi, why? Why you did Bako when we win a trophy one season? What about the next season? Or pre-season when me and most season here? Or struggle the whole season because you had a bad pre-season. Now we new season, then you mess up the pre-season again. Kobo top Jesus or the Aras near Kobo. Kobo, if you leak tape, no more that's true. No. Only Jesus or
your non-core decision to make as a coach.
Yes, it was his decision.
It was no. Coach down. I'm 100%.
He went to the board to explain to them that those games or no a plan.
On the plan.
Of a board
with Olympics,
or say his team is not ready. That is why he's been sacked because they feel that, and they sacked him because he told them, he gave them all those things, and they backed him. I never realized that the team is.
And it's not when the board knows one. I say the management knows one, and I'll tell you why. Whatever I decide to do as a coach, and I would have to convince you, and I have to back that with science. When to me, I'm a champ say, oh, because the players are not ready. No one is ready in this league, and say for the first 10 games in the crowd, no one is ready until maybe from 13th game people peak. It's gonna say, I always talk about reasons and. You you need to have a reason.
Yeah.
And it needs to make sense. It has to make a reason, it has to mean We'll say Sabi Nyansa womb a boa club, not necessarily because we're your coach and also Monty, and that's we leave it with them. We need to understand where we want to go as a club and how far we want to take the club. It's in a say Obeka say who loses? How's never lose? Because you've invested so much in him, invested so much in the pre-season. That's in Korea. It's House that's losing. It's for them to just accept, say, coaches who are more coaches.
No problem. I agree with you, but House will be a technical director. And Obeka as a technical director can say no. Can they have a discussion? But this only management they deal with, and he's supposed to be the coach, the football person. See, that's my plan. Plan the stage I'm on, we know stage I'm about high profile matches. That's the argument he made.
But Doc, interestingly enough, no management members no soon him say you fail.
No money more.
No money him said you no obo akopem. Until okay.
No so gonna copy him.
Yeah, they obey.
Because when when
why does he himself not make his mistake?
Exactly. Because learning process. So say Obi Beckham Chelsea for your pre-season. There were times I'm a fan of friend. I got to leave now on board.
Yeah.
But we're on board with a friend requires of Uti Wedia League no division Biao and no free coaching. You journals. I somehow catch them. Can coach now. And on the coach Uti my head on your crowd. And also no or DB because also move face out all the senior players. And or young boys or the young bank crack and or some bought to a certain party. Oka chom so o dey go ye go ma eti be hu different e G6 eti G6 when I saw Chelsea play my friend team now be any there way different crowd and also kakaka. So look at the season. I'm about 3 matches. They've won 2, they've drawn 1.
Yeah.
And the game almost same with Diema.
Yeah.
They played so well. That is a team or a coach with a plan.
Yes.
That seems to be working.
Yeah.
Because clearly your plan with me, I am an Kwame Nomne, our now, hard to work there. No problem. Said the management didn't really understand and support the coach why he wanted to do.
Yes, but
coach, I was support from the board chairman. Our board chairman said, "Obienya coach no nyana juma." It is honor the say coach now say you're responsible enough and humble enough. So sometimes you need some large backroom staff. You can consult people. Say, Coach Freddy, this is what I want to do. The pre-season, this is the plan. What do you think? Coach Oti, what do you think? Then, but to decide, say, players, it was 6. A Black Galaxies camp. They are playing. You have other players they will play with. Also, okay, and on your pre-season, Papa Biambebo, small matches, teams in South Africa. Always the only reason they tell us, they give us their moment idea is that omni match fitness.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
Because by the time we start Africa, now your league is starting. They don't have omni match sharpness. No, any organized competition is okay. The top 6, and you are playing against Premier League teams.
Yeah,
Babo, also there be so youth team Babo. So House of first competitive game, and they had to cancel one game and normally Nations FC Bebo.
Yeah.
Their first competitive game was the league.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
How is that possible?
The first competitive game was a league game against
I don't understand
the stars in Doma.
And did you watch that game?
Yeah.
House were like they were trotting. Why no I don't have for Tremika. We could go and win that game again. Again, they were not better than us. They were just physically fitter. They were first to the ball. They were winning all the second balls. That's all. That's how they beat us. Just fitness, and any ability be here. So how can a coach do this to your own team? We hear that you did the same thing the season before. One day,
that was accepted.
Yeah,
once the coach be up with free hands to work, and most of the time, Obakacho sometimes Otima make a report on a player. Also, none of Freddie no. Anyway, and these are the things we need to work on. I mean, Michael Antonio, clear example. For about 6 months, not make Casada. I told him the truth. Michael Freeman, hey, listen, I told him the truth. And that was the case. 6 months after, and he came back saying, Freddie, you know what you said was right. It's, young working on it. We started to work on it at West Ham, and he started to play. So what I'm saying is, so when someone accepts it without asking questions, it becomes a problem. He said, Coach Samuel Bodiko, who struggles? Hasselhoff, business-wise, technically, because Omokofa another person to come in there now, or also in the plan, but you understand? You would have to give him the whole season for him to assess the players again. It will be always like I said, yeah, as a team, not fans in the best struggle. It is okay see a Janus won't quay on Quadia, and I saw the Nipa 10 Akuma Idia Gran. I say, what the whole nation has an Idia Gro. It's in the certain questions you need to ask as a board, as a management, to understand exactly, and it has to be backed by science. Because Nipa Hojman said, we are.
On one hand, digging the grave, I mean, we are making but for you to make some mistake with twice, has about 3 months or more 2 points in there. No management will let you continue.
No credit.
Out of 9 points when you're 2. I mean, management the behavior said to us.
In the first half season, the team was already built.
Yeah.
Into almost successful. Into on first full season, I hold on Mosha says or more raised doubts about the capacity and all of that. And as Cincinnati ni Hoffenheim for no so no, I'm so almost so share ball ni bia. Good reviews.
Yeah, let's go no share ni Obi. That's when you share the.
We had the same but was say coach dia ofia ya in your maha drink kakra. Dia ba ko mo san so de bonus so bo ni say ya bobo awie na coach Samuel Boadu post game press conference and a post game TV so na afedie
Avedi dey.
Okay, say no.
Avedi some no ayo mo ya ha adwim but we
dey. Minimum to one come in when the grow.
Sir. Coach Samuel Boadu na be coach who match ni say.
Na dey.
Say communication.
No Martina me
communication.
I say language na
language no na da obeka brofo so no. Say na
no
but until me I am a draw Cincinnati ni Hoffenheim for na bem. They view Hartwell as a global brand
yeah.
And they feel say
the head coach will to
communicate in a certain way, which is so those are some of the few factors. Saying no for the last game against Asan Kotkoi or Statian or say. Start times for me damase mo kai say mo na Bundesliga no, and I think one other factor is no you're too dependent on Togbe. When you say Togbe will make so much on Togbe na
but you have to deliver on the pitch.
Yes, but when say
you have to deliver on the pitch.
It was a problem. It was a big problem.
You can't make the same mistake out last year.
And clearly no Krepan say how to for Benjamin for no say they didn't see the team say I'm say the cable to add the be Iniesta.
Yeah.
Interview me. I said, Pep Guardiola buying. Almost first 2 or 3 matches when you want. So the system no. Na young farm boy draw no lose no draw. 80 call training. Now who's a Pep person say no call the old system. And on this Javi Koga chain say star no person it is the best.
Yeah.
But players know with time will adjust.
We'll pick it, yeah.
And if I know, I'm going to be no Zananya, my ball going to go. And some of what I had some penny for, and one of them I spoke to, one of the board members who called me, he's a friend. I'm needing come on, and the pop name said, no what he wanted to do with the team. I said, you see what they want to do. But you can see that they want to do it this way. And their problem is that they couldn't. How Hartwell wants to play, because against Kotoko, Hart was so exposed that I think they were even lucky they got a draw out of that game.
Yeah. And sometimes more bomb match we are recovery. No, some beach work Monday anopa. No. You know, some of the boys were complaining to management and all of that, but I think
even from body language, we follow us up. Body language of some of the players, come say they were not happy with the coach.
Absolutely.
A typical player was Mo Alassan. Mo Alassan, ball Galazi, or the boy Diana the Olympics. No, we saw here, so those was now. You could see say the spirit, the suit born him. So not because he's a bad player.
I want us to come from the strength and conditioning team now. Your technical team, but by all means now say about matches you are be 60, Dr. Bo be 100. Who trains the next day? It's a decision on the strength and conditioning people, your decision of the coach.
Strength and conditioning.
Oh, okay.
Physical trainer also physical trainer no. Only how is you choose physical trainer? Obi to bless you too. There are some things we need to go back to. Instead of the account, America be mention how to call. I'll share Kodoko Kakra, of course South Africa. And also who are dealing with Orlando Pirates. No say baby boy. Cause Orlando Pirates no more yet preseason, and they had these 3 guys. Strength and condition.
Yeah.
Orlando Pirates. So experts in that, so they bring them to come and condition the boys. And now Obakim Faisala or Sasa Omodombaya or the preseason. And Obaka that season Kim Faisal. The worst time for any team to play Kim Faisal was from the 75th minute. Who are dead. They were so fit. That time one of the best defenders in the league. He realized preseason physical trainer no, but that's his expertise. Bring the thing is that we always want to use the lazy approach to achieve success. It won't work. It doesn't work like that. Be on your body or to Banchana. They will do that is what you will get. So the preseason you will determine the season you will have. It's that simple.
And House were clearly not ready for the season. We should have 3 games now. They were not even ready. No preseason stage 1.
Well, anyway, Gogula be the message via Barbara baby. I mean, can say, please ask Michael this for me. Lack of segregation of duties has always led to a violation or breaches in most entities. As an agent, I believe most of his players have a set-up team in place. How does the team function to avoid people overstepping their roles to allow the player focus on playing football rather than dealing with conflict of staff? Our roles and responsibilities clearly defined. Is he aware most of the players hire auditors to audit their cash flows?
Wait, a serious question.
Yeah.
Let me think. So he's asking about the team around the player.
The team around the player.
And how we ensure that people don't overstep their
rules.
So the main agent, the main representative will direct what everyone has to do. So I will hire the financial advisor for Mikel Antonio. I would hire the personal coach for Mikel Antonio. I will hire these things, and for me, I set clear boundaries. This is what you're meant to do. If I'm only now building the relationship, you will not speak direct to the player. You will speak with me first. Of course, when time goes on and you start to build a relationship with the player, then you'll have access to the football player. But before that, everything will go through me. It's just to make sure that the player has full focus on what he has to do on a Saturday at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock on the time. So it's very, very important that the player's mind is clear, just to focus on what he does, which is to play football. So, the agent, the team around them has to put things in place to make sure that not everyone has access to the players. Not everyone can call the players. That's very, very key. And the players, they don't want to be contacted by everyone. Although they're the team, they don't want to be speaking to everyone at the same time. That's it.
Wow. Obi Kasim is about spirituality. What's the better players?
UK spirituality. It depends. One of my clients be Jan Valerie, Boma, Southampton. He's just gone to Angers. We're a Muslim, very strong Muslim, and him, we're a big believer. Before every game, he has his superstitions. Mikel Antonio, before every game, he'll put on one boot first before the other. He'll eat the same food. We'll put beans and toast before games. Every game, he'll do the same thing. Okay. So players, they have their own, and yet to say Africa, where it's spiritual, but they have superstitions. Okay. They have things that they'll do. They'll have certain boots that they'll wear if they're not scoring goals.
Certain things bring them luck.
Superstition. So that's more common in the European game. Oh, Debbie. No. That's what you meant when you said spiritual.
That's what you
drew. No. That one there, not in the UK.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, interesting conversation, but there were just 10 minutes more.
Yes, agent.
Because
I will say agent Sudidi. Na Kwan Ben Suna agent Sudidi. How do you make your money?
So we make our money on the commissions of the players. So when I go to negotiate a contract, I'm going first to maximize the player's earnings. So if I think the player deserves 100,000 a week, I'm going to push for that first. After we've agreed, oh, we're going to give him 90, oh, we're going to give him 110, then we'll come to my fees. I'm going to tell the club, you are paying me a premium because I've advised the player to sign for your club. I've got the player to your club instead of taking him to Manchester United or Liverpool or to Real Madrid. So therefore, you're paying me X. And this is always the battle. The agency fee. Okay. And this is why a lot of deals sometimes get held up. But your client should respect the job that you're doing for them. You're making them very, very rich. You're maximizing their earning potentials. And that comes with a premium. That comes with a price. Clubs do not like playing agents. But then on the flip side, sometimes they need us. If they need to sell players or they need to reduce their wage bill, you know, Arsenal at one stage had a high wage bill of players like Pepe and all these things. The agent of the Pepe, he's gonna sit there because he's enjoying his commission.
Yeah.
So you have to hire someone like Mike, who has no connection to Pepe. Mike Mpacho, please phone Marseille, phone Lyon, tell them that Pepe is free, work a deal, and we'll pay you a fee for that. So agents earn for their clients, yes, but clubs also need us, but they don't make this known that they're going to hire us to go and do their nitty-gritty when they've made mistakes. When they sign players and they give them big wages, who's the one that comes to sort out? It's the other agents, because the player is going to be happy to sit on his 200,000, 150,000 a week.
Frankie de Jong, you remember what happened pre-season?
Yeah.
How do you handle that?
That situation is unique, to be honest. A very unique situation with what's going on at Barcelona and all the noise, and his parents represent him. So that one is very unique. If I'm honest, I wouldn't know how to manage that one, because who be that crowd with what's going on in Barcelona.
At the times when you conflict with players, because the player feels that I want to play for this club, but they are saying that maybe you are charging too much for your premiums.
Yeah. True. It gets to a stage where you have to draw a line where you know that the club will say, look, Mike, if you keep asking us for this money, we will not sign the player. Point blank, simple. So when it gets to that stage, you have to take a step back as the agent, because you don't want to ruin the chance for your player. But there's some agents, especially foreign agents that sign African, South American players, they don't care. Mino Raiola, God rest his soul, fantastic agent. He was a good advocate for agents and us getting paid. But if you're not paying Mino Raiola what he wants, the deal will not happen. Simple. Yeah. And the clubs know that.
That's an impatient agent or selfish.
He's very selfish. He's very selfish.
But that's what I was going to ask you about this so-called super agent, Jorge Mendes.
Jorge Mendes, Mino Raiola.
They are giving agents a bad name.
They are, to be honest.
They are. So how do you feel about it?
But at the same time, they help us. They give us bad name, but when Mino Raiola goes into boardrooms with FIFA are trying to stop agents earning so much money. Yeah. They don't like football money going outside of football, and they see agents as outside entities of football. So people like Mino Raiola, he was a big fighter for agency fees. So although he's given us a bad name in public, inside the boardroom, he's fighting for us. Lord Mendes is fighting for us. So we allow him to do what he has to do. And the beauty about Raiola is he represents the elite players, so he can afford to tell Man City, if you're not paying me this, Haaland is not coming, because there's only one Haaland.
Yes.
There's only one Eric Haaland. So if you don't pay him his premium, no problem. Someone else will do it. He's Zlatan Ibrahimovic. There's only one Zlatan at his peak. So if you don't pay me this, then simple, the deal won't get done. So it's, as an agent, you're only as powerful as your client. You know, when Mikel Antonio's scoring goals for West Ham, I'm powerful. When I go to Dave Sullivan and I can say, I want this, if you don't pay him this, no problem, we'll see our contract. Yeah. You know, when Reece James, the new chairman, has come and he's the best number 2 in the world, I'm powerful. You know, when he's not playing, then I'm not powerful.
Okay.
So it's as simple as that.
So invariably, I mean, you also role, we say, a player no performance performer, you should do something, probably give him to Freddie. Do work on him for me to get him to the peak.
Yeah, very true. When the players perform usually is due to complacency, because only elite footballers, these players, they're the best. You can't teach them how to play better. Only are the best. So sometimes big contracts, sometimes lifestyle. You know, you just enter the Premier League, you've been living somewhere else, you're in a Premier League lifestyle. So as the agent, when I see these things, and this is why I think my players respect me, I'm going to be very, very straight with them. I'm going to say, listen, hey, you're playing it for Arsenal now. If you don't fix up, you'll be playing for Luton Town in the next 18 months. And now you have to be very, very clear and straight. So mine is not always just give them to Freddie or give them advice. A sports psychologist, you know, mental health in Ghana, but in England, they're a big thing. And a lot of these players, you have to stand up and play in front of 60,000 fans every week. The whole world watching you. People in Ghana, people in Asia, everyone is watching you as a Premier League footballer. Mentally, it takes a toll. So I always advise players talk to professionals, talk to therapists, vent your problems, and these things, they help. 90% of all the Premier League players now have a sports psychologist. Clubs now hire sports psychologists. Players come in, someone like, Harry Maguire is going through, I'm sure for now he's speaking to someone, just venting about his problems, that will help. So as the agent, these are the things you need to put in place to help your client when he's going through tough times.
Okay.
I have two questions. First of all, loyalty bonus. Loyalty. Loyalty fee. What does it mean?
So loyalty bonus, it's a lump sum fee that a club will pay to the player to make him stay at the club. So for example, if I want a player to earn 100,000 a week, the clubs may say to me, "Oh, we won't give you 100,000. We'll give you 90,000 a week."
Okay.
But that extra 10,000 a week, we'll times it by the 52 weeks in a year. That'll be 520,000, and we'll give you 520,000 as a loyalty fee. So then, the loyalty fee is only paid if the player stays beyond the transfer window.
Yeah.
So the loyalty fee will be paid in September. So if the player is there after September, then he gets his 520,000. Wow. So it's a tactic that clubs will use. If you want to get your lump sum, you want 100,000, we'll give you 90, but here's a loyalty fee. It will equivalent to 100,000, and there it is. But it's only payable if you stay with us after the transfer window.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Final one. We have Mario Icardi. He was handled by Wanda Nara, his wife. There are players, for example, Halad, handled by his dad. So between family and tight relations and a third party or an independent agent like yourself, which of these options get the players to a certain level?
See, family representation is becoming very, very popular now. Because there's so much money in representation. Even that picture you put up, Reece James, Papa, he's there. Reece James, he's very, very involved. He takes a percentage of what I earn. He's very, very involved. And it's some players, their family members have a huge impact in their decision making. That's Nigel James there. He has they work right next to Reece. So Nigel, he has his own academy. He used to play. He's very, very knowledgeable. Okay. Now Nigel is heavily involved in all of Reece's decisions, and some players, they prefer this. Someone like Mikel Antonio, Papa, they don't care about football. So I do everything, I manage everything. So it's very, very dependent. There is no right or wrong answer, but it's becoming more common. Family members now, big brothers, uncles, fathers, they're coming heavily involved, but they're not professional agents. They can't do contracts. They don't understand loyalty fees and image rights and sign-on bonuses and accommodation bonuses. They don't understand these things.
Bonus.
Yeah, there's things to put in place.
Certain terms. Accommodation bonus.
You learn every day. It's very, very good. This is so educational.
Okay.
We do my last one.
This our last one.
My last one, Mike, is an appeal to you. My biggest worry with Ghana players they call abroad here, I always feel say they're not held by their agents. Because you can see a very talented player goes to Europe and the career pathway, Emianda, then he gets lost. But you can see players from Cameroon, maybe Mali especially, Red Bull Academy, Salzburg, they had a pathway. The only coach for the moment can they create something more identify talents for Ghana. I really need you to do that for us.
True. Senegal, Ivory Coast as well. Really good academies where there's a clear pathway. Now, this is the reason I'm here.
Thank you.
I'm in UK, but I'm an Ashanti boy.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe Papa with free drubbing. And they grew up in Ashton. I've made good money. I've made good money. I've done big deals. I understand how to create a young player and turn him into an elite football player. Yes. I understand the system and I understand how to monetize, how to make money from that. And what I want to do is bring all of that skill set into here, Ghana. And I'll do it. I've told all my Premier League players, once everything is set up, they will come. I'll bring them here. They will talk. They will do everything. So we're going to try and help bring the young players in Ghana through Europe. through a systematic pathway, something that will make sense, and also it will help the economy as well. So we'll do it. It's in my intention.
So brilliant.
Asking for his number, but
no. It's wrong. Social media page or people can go. Social media page. Social media handles.
Yeah, Instagram, just Mike.Apiasen.
Okay.
So
Mike.Apiasen.
Yeah, you can add me. You can send me a message. I'll try and respond.
All right. That's beautiful. So, I don't know, but Ashanti, Ashanti,
Ashtown. I'm free Ashtown.
Okay.
And Ashtown, yeah.
Wow.
And my papa will take Patasi.
Okay.
At the moment.
Patasi now one, baby.
Patasi.
Hi, Patasi.
Why Patasi? Sorry. Near the ICS school. ICS school.
Oh,
okay. Santasi.
No, Patasi. ICS. The old one.
The
old one.
Okay.
UK, but now I buy every year for summer holidays.
Okay.
But it's not Ghana and Kasada for a long period.
It's okay. You're doing good.
And we look forward to some other Satia Bibi Ohane. There's a Coach Freddy for one of our boys in the and
I like to say more footballing knowledge are very, very good. All of you guys,
thank you
the good work that you're doing. Continue. What surprised me, if I'm honest, when Freddie was telling me, I didn't think you guys would know so much about football, but you're doing very well. So continue the good work. And the radio listeners, be listening to these people because they know their stuff.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Panier.
Danny Fernand.
Maybe
I would see about you can say.
Oh, great.
Oh, he's okay.
Yes.
I loved him.
For me, Miss House, Black Stars scouting team, Nanka, or Sabari Masimi, Miss House, or more contact on scouting, because in some way I can't hide it. And I also was
sorry. I'm always open to helping my country. Yeah. Sebi, Dicham's in your woman, me Ghana, Matana London for about 22 years now. I try not to talk about money. Eniska, they need to understand that. So I'm friend say me boa. I'll do my best to help. Eniska,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, Coach Freddie, I mean, because we didn't have dance here, and I know say. Or my be a number so say meeting Coach Freddie, they will tell you. With him sometimes I say, oh your man, want to pay us now, like that.
I'll come with you. I'll be November now. November I'll be remember November. Match case.
Executive box, Chelsea. Only third ball in it, and I still ask now.
Executive box. I'm a more Dennis Club or Govi. My father can.
They say because there are a lot of talents. But sadly, and I had also agents never found Grano. They just mess their lives up. Who say Coach Freddie, Mike Muna, and Buana. Thanks so much.
Football change life, so.
Oh yeah.
They be answering me, you meet me summer players. You be a player in America. It can change a whole family.
Yeah.
Just get one footballer from the family.
Yeah, that's
we need to create avenues, opportunities for them.
Well, okay, this here, I'm going to channel. Yeah, maybe go any fancy apple cider Afonso. Mike, you want to say something?
No, I'm okay.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much. Okay, I don't know. Well, I enjoy the discussion. So much education from a top. Football agent, a very top football coach, Dr. Zavoje. The knowledge about football, I mean, you can and of course all of us is in a great one. Guys,
boss, Radado.
Nah, those are